Good Monday morning, you guys. So happy February. The groundhog saw its shadow, which is supposed to mean more winter, but it's like 80 here in Texas. So I feel like that's a lie, at least for us, but I'm going to take it. Okay. Because Mickey's up in snow. Russell, you're probably where it's somewhat frigid. And so, we're going to take it. But happy February, everybody. You're listening to Author Talk. And it is just me, Russell, and Mickey, who puts a lot of his authors on our show. We have a lot of working relationships together, is coming to hang out with us today. And so let's kick off with the weekend. Okay. So Josh took off to go to Corpus. So he's on a work trip in Corpus, hanging out, living I always say his single temporary life is how I word that for him. And so that's what he's currently doing.
I want to leave too.
Oh, please. Your puppy is cute. You can leave your puppy with me whenever. I will watch Rita anytime. I love her dearly. But other than that, you guys, this weekend, I really I got caught up on laundry, which is the bane of my existence. I did watch for the first time ever The Greatest Showman. I'd never seen that. And you guys know I love musicals. So I did watch that. But I mean, other than that, we just enjoyed the really nice weather. It was like 78 here and sunny, gorgeous. So we hung out outside and everything. And, me and Josh have spent a lot of time recently talking about our future in terms of our future here in College Station, what that looks like, all of those different avenues, how long, if there's anywhere else that we want to go. And so, I don't know why we have these really thought-provoking conversations at dinner.
It's a good couples thing.
Yeah. So, we spent a lot of time doing that. Meadow, always had a lot of fun at school and all those things. So it was really uneventful, except, it's just uneventful here in my house. We're surviving the new year and just the chaoticness that comes with it. But Russell, you have Rita with you, which I love. She's a part of the show now. So how was your weekend with Rita?
It was so hard. I won't make fun of you anymore about your horrible kid stories.
I love it.
Since everyone's seen her last week, she's grown like a third larger. And she's only 12 weeks old, and she's biting everything because her teeth hurt, right? Because it's the baby teeth and all that.
Uh-huh.
And so I spent the whole weekend. My wife and I My wife spent the weekend cleaning because these puppies make messes, and I spent the whole weekend taking care of her and getting up at 10. Well, before I go to bed at 10, then you get back up at 12. Then I've been getting up at 3, but then 4 last night. She let me sleep an extra hour, and
Nice.
She's wild.
She's cute. I love it.
This is all I've been able to do. The only other thing is I've been talking to a couple of authors, and they had some questions. And I think this is a great day that the three of us are here because I have questions for the two of you that I think the audience would like answered.
Yeah, always. And I like her pink little leash. I love her.
Yeah, she's a pretty little girl.
I know.
She's going to be a pretty big girl.
I love it.
Put her in her bed. I'll be right back.
All right. Mickey, how was your weekend? What did you do? Who'd you hang out with? I love your kitty. It's an animal day.
This is Airy.
I love it. It's an animal day. Mine is somewhere.
Airy always likes to sit on me when I'm doing stuff. So this is the perfect segue for that. So
I love it.
I can hopefully put her away after when I'm actually doing work. But yeah, anyways.
Right. And since we always had Aimee's kids, it's like a pet show.
Well, that's true. You had it before. Sky did come in here before. My cat came in sometime. I don't know. She opens the door and she peruses. So
nice.
Yeah.
But no, my weekend was good. I just did some work and tracked on Glenda Benavidez's Grammy nomination to see where that went. She didn't win, but she was there. It was great. And talked with the South Dakota Festival of Books, and I'll be presenting there in September this year. So that's a good deal. And then just hanging out with my cat and reading and doing stuff.
Love it.
Mhm.
I love
Okay.
it.
I need to thank our listeners before we get started. Most people don't watch us on Monday morning, but listen to us during the week. And we want to thank you very much. We're a top rated show and we're very humbled by it. I could not find us the first few months we were on podcast until Aimee rebranded us. And all of a sudden we were near or at the top of the list. And it's great. Aimee, how do people find us?
Oh, Russell, everybody, including you now, can find us. But no, you guys can listen to us over Spotify, Amazon, Good Pods. I mean, Apple, if you're like, what is it? iTunes, if you're an Apple user, you're an Android user, Google Play, anywhere that you can go and search for a podcast, you will find us. You just type in Author Talk, look for the crimson, red, and gold logo. That is ours because those are my favorite colors. But if you want to come and watch us and engage with us and see how animated me and Valerie are, because we talk a lot with our hands, Russell likes to also say that I have no poker face, but I'm really good at controlling what comes out of my mouth. So if you want to come over and join the conversation or have a good laugh with us, you can go over to our Facebook group, our YouTube channel, any one of our social media platforms. We're open and we love engaging with you guys and just having fun conversations. If you want to be on, you guys know, but if you're new here, welcome. You can send us a direct message on any of my channels. You can email us any way you can have. If you're a Mickey client, Mickey's going to reach out to us and you can come and hang out with us. It is entirely free to come on and hang out with us. We enjoy doing this. This was all Russell's idea 9 years ago. So if you want to see where we started to where we are today, go over to our YouTube channel to check out all of our channels and our evolvement into what it is today and what it, it's always changing, which is what I enjoy. But this was all Russell's baby and we've been doing it for 9 years and it's been a lot of fun. We've introduced, met, had really fun conversations with a lot of people in the different writing community, writing space, authorship, authorpreneurs. And so it's just been a lot of fun. It really, you guys, it truly sets my Monday morning, Russell, hanging out with you. And then when Valerie or Sandy is here and then our author guests and with Mickey here, it like sets my like whole vibe for the week. And I love it. So I look forward to it. So it's one of those things, and it's 45 minutes, which Russell likes to say is the average length of a workout. So you can hang out with us while you're doing that or
Work out.
Well, okay. Yeah, you could do that. But I will tell you this. So I haven't talked a lot about Josh on my show recently because, I was trying to be nice. I called him today and I was like, hey, you have a 4.5 hour drive. Are you going to listen to my show? All this stuff. And he was like, well, I got to download a podcast to listen to. So naturally, he's not going to. So then I told him, I said, well, I'm going to talk crap about you on the show because you're not going to listen to it. So, that's just how it goes. So, yeah. And then I even tried to guilt trip him, which I'm not a huge fan of all the time. But I'm kind of like, you have a 4.5 hour drive. I don't know if you're going to listen to a 4.5 hour podcast because that would put me to sleep. So you could just listen to mine at 10, like it's coming up, this whole thing. So he's not doing that. So needless to say, he doesn't support his wife is what I'm going to say, which we all know isn't true. He thoroughly does. But you're going to hear a lot of crap about Josh in the coming weeks because of this moment.
Well,
so,
Aimee, here's the truth. You're not passive aggressive.
I'm
You're
not. I am
just aggressive. So you don't get into shaming. If you don't like something, you just let him have it.
Pretty much.
So
that is a true statement.
That's what it is. That's why you don't shame because you don't need to shame because if you don't like something, you just let him know it.
I know.
Yeah, but Russell, that's not actually true though, because I've seen Aimee be passive aggressive in certain situations where it warrants that, and then I've seen her aggressive side, which is 90% of the time otherwise.
Yeah.
So
absolutely,
yeah.
I've seen it too. I've also seen when she knows it's best just to not say anything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's hard, but she can not say things when she needs to.
But my face says it all.
That silence is worse.
But to be fair, this is why, I always say Russell comes the disclaimer before the show, but technically I do too. I just don't tell it. But I may know when to not say anything and to keep my mouth shut or to say something nice, even though it probably galls my soul. But you will know how I'm at 100% feeling based on my face, which is why Russell was saying I'm just aggressive, because my face will totally be the opposite of what's coming out of my mouth.
And I don't mean aggressive in a negative way.
I know how you mean it.
I know, but some people would think you say, well, she's a woman, she's aggressive. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
It's a very positive thing. You don't have to wonder about you may have to wonder what Amy's thinking if it's improper for her to say it, but everything's open. She's going to tell you if something's up.
Oh, yeah. I generally tell Josh, usually is how I'll say it, is I'm mouthy. I can be very mouthy in like a very direct, in a very direct way. I can be that, like 100%. I'm not like
well, I'm getting it this weekend about the messy house too. Every time the dog would make something messy, I would get in trouble. It was awful. It's her dog too. Why am I in trouble? That's another story.
You guys are hilarious.
Okay, I love it.
Now, so for the listeners, I have talked. Like I said before, I've spoken to several lawyers, authors over the last few days, and at least two of them asked me what the two of you guys really do. And the first thing I would like to ask you is, how do you describe yourself to a third party? And my second question to both of you is, how would you list and describe what you do for an author?
We run a circus.
Well, that's a true statement. That's a true statement. So it's really hard to describe. So the best way that I can describe it is by telling you what I currently have booked for just this month, right? Because I feel like that's the best way, is to show you what implementation looks like in terms of what I do, right? So I have 13 book promotions scheduled for just this month, right? One, we have Valentine's Day, right? So of course we have romance authors that are doing promotions on their book anyways. And what I mean by promotions is if you're doing $1.99, 99 cents free, $1.99, $2.99, those kinds of promotion on your ebook, those are the ones that we have set, scheduled, ready to go out to all these massive email lists and campaign builders and ranking builders, right? So I have 13 of those just this month, right? And only one of those is a new release on a book, which comes out on the 28th, right? Which is Bjorn's. And he's been here and hung out and all those things. So generally what it looks like, what I do is we strategize the best time for you to run those promotions when not a bunch of other people are also running promotions, or the best time to capitalize on a holiday, or like each month here in the States has a certain theme, right? And if we can somehow connect that theme to your book, then we'll run a promotion on it to leverage that, right? So we look at ways that we can leverage certain things going on to run those promotions to draw up reviews, downloads, to keep constant sales. Now, yeah, it is at a promotional price and it is on your ebook, but anybody in the industry knows is that ebooks and audiobooks are the most popular versions of books. Now, if you're in like the romance space, they do have special editions, which are going to be special edition paperbacks and hardbacks and those kinds of things, which you have to get exclusively from the author. No one's going to run promotions on that. That's not how that works in terms of running a discount price on it. So we focus on your ebook and your audiobooks in terms of running campaigns and promotions for that and leveraging all these different things that happen in the month. So like I said, so we have 13 right this month that are happening. And those are just to drive up, purchases, reviews, all of those. And then we leverage different promotional Facebook groups, right? So like I'm an admin of 13 of them, and we're probably a part of at least 750, if not 1,200. Right. So then we go and promote you in those groups actively. Now, keep in mind, those groups are going to get thousands of posts a day. Right. But everyone in that group is looking for a promotion on a book. So we leverage all of those things to help keep those things consistent. And then we complement what Mickey's doing, in a sense, is if you're wanting social media support, then we complement what Mickey's doing, which is in terms of all the speaking engagements, written articles, those kinds of things that you're doing. We also highlight within those groups, right? Because then it's highlighting you as an author. And if we can coordinate it with a promotion, it's a double banger is how I position that. So that's generally what we do. We help with keywords too. We'll help you if you're self-publishing and you need help finding an editor or doing the whole book production publishing aspect of it and you don't really want to tackle that by yourself, because it is an industry where if you don't know something that you don't know, you're going to learn it the hard way, which is you're going to lose money in that, right? So you need someone that at least knows the industry, knows people that they trust, that they know are going to do a good job. You generally need someone like that on your side. So we offer that and do those kinds of things, but we focus primarily on the book promotion. And what that looks like is, like I said, all the campaigns we have running this month, is running those continuously or strategizing them every 3 to 6 months to kind of help leverage things, especially new launches and those kinds of things. But Mickey does something completely left field of what I do. So, Mickey.
So Aimee gets all the working capital stuff, I would like to say, that aspect. I get all the fun. So I do all the networking for media affiliates, magazines, radio, TV, podcasts, book blogs, press release links. I get to develop all of that. And then I'm circulating that all out, not only within the local scope, not only within North America, but internationally for my clients. We're in a position, because we have such a wide variety of different clients and clients who write in virtually every genre, we're able to leverage out bulk opportunities in a number of cases to those media affiliates. And as a result of that, we're also able to strategize and build those media relationships on an ongoing basis. There are many times where I don't even have to send out a press release. I'll simply just set out a schedule for our affiliates, and those authors are booked within that. In addition to that, because we're book focused like Aimee is, I have a lot of authors who have different things that they're doing as well. I have authors who've written books who are musicians. I have authors who've written books who work in film. I have authors who write nonfiction books who are mentoring experts or life coaches or things like that. So the client base is extremely diversified. And that gives us a really, really big advantage when we go to build these media relationships out, because I can virtually send someone that fits any kind of show, and it's going to be an interview scape. Once those interviews are booked, and this is the key for the clients that me and Aimee work together on, once those links are done, said and done, I simply send those links to Aimee. She then shares those links out to her 120 plus whatever, her social media aspect. And it can become a very powerful statement that way as well. So that's what we do together, and that's what we do on the side. Does that help, Russell?
You're muted.
It does, and I hope that the authors that asked me these questions over the last few days, I hope they're listening. I know 2 of them are, and I hope that answers their questions. One of the things that we've talked about occasionally on this show is, and it shocks new authors as they're trying to break in, is I always have to alert them that not everyone that says they'll help you are honest. Because let me tell you, as an attorney, I practiced law for 41 years. Every industry has its sharks and has its incompetence. In this industry, if you've written a book and you want to publish it and publicize it, you have to go through a maze of dishonesty to find honest people that know what they're doing and keep their word and charge a reasonable fee and don't try to steal from you. It's just the way it is. It's the world we live in. It's in every industry. There's just a lot of people in trying to make money in the publication of new books. And so I have to warn authors, be aware. And so it's important when you talk about, like, you have 13 books you're promoting this month. You have a long list of authors that you can offer, Mickey, when you're making contacts. That's like a recommendation, because you wouldn't have that many, and you wouldn't have that many ongoing ones if you weren't doing what they thought they were paying you for, right? You'd have to rotate quickly, because that's the way a scam artist works, is they move through people quickly, because they get them, they grind them up and go to the next. Get them, grind them up, go to the next. I know. I've seen a lot of those people in 41 years.
Is it a cycle, Russell? Yes. Do we lose clients? Sure, we do.
Everybody loses clients. Everyone has people that are unhappy with them.
Well, it's not even unhappiness. With me, it's not, to that point, though.
That's life.
But to that point, though, it's not even unhappiness. Sometimes we've just cycled through a book after 2 or 3 years, and they haven't written a new one, and so there's nothing else we can do for those individuals. So they ultimately, like, it's a mutual breakup, right? So
that's not even a breakup. It's just the relationship has lived its usefulness for both people.
But you're right about the scams. I mean, there are so many out there. I mean, there are so many authors out there who are dying to have their book made into a film. And there are so many people and so many scam artists out there promising screenplays and all these things, but not really laying out the facts as to what needs to happen to make that happen, and know that it's not going to happen overnight either. I mean, it takes years for something like that to happen. And that's just one example of the kind of scams that are out there. It's horrible.
Okay, here's a scam that has hit me about 4 times this year that I've actually, I think, mentioned the first time it hit, trying to get me to bite, that I think I've mentioned on the show before. And that is, I get these texts, and I don't know if they get a list from Amazon or who they're getting it from, where they reach out and they guarantee that if you hire them, you'll sell 50,000 books in 1 year. Are you guys aware of that? Who are these people? And they've reached out to me 4 times. So they're actually rotating through a list that they purchased and going through it 4 times now in the last year. Who are these people?
I mean, those are just going to be, like scammy people. But the way that you can tell those things is they're like, oh yeah, we can guarantee results. And then it'll be like $75 or $100. From someone that's in the industry that understands that, I can't even give you that for that price point, because you have everything, the cost of all of those opportunities, those promotional sites, all of those things have gone up. Like, one, they were never at $75. And so if it's like that, but if they send you screenshots and it has like celebrity book names or really big authors on it, then the best thing to do, and Mickey's really good about doing this, is to go to those authors' websites or to Google it to see if it is a spam, and see if the author on that is represented in that actually has them on their site. Because a lot of times they will go and create, and I mean, it happens all the time. Like, the scam artists and stuff are getting more creative, and their web pages look more real and those kinds of things. So you have to really know what you're looking for. But
I didn't know this.
Yeah, and they won't. So, okay, people like me, I don't just go and randomly reach out to people. We're very much where people just reach out to us. Now, we do sponsorships. We do educational, like, webinars and seminars and those kinds of things, and educate you guys on what the industry looks like, what we're doing, how we can do it. Yes. But I don't actively just go down a list and send it out, even on my email list, which I always tell people to do better than I do at my email list, because I have one and I grew it, and I don't send anything out on it, and I should. But even then, like, I'm not cold emailing people asking for business. That's not generally how it works. And so their websites and stuff, you really have to go and like double check and go through whoever they are representing, go to their websites and see if it is a click. Like Mickey always says, like, to put his name on your website so that way they know and all those things. If you go over to their website and their name's not on there or whatever, it's not a legit thing. And they are harder to spot for sure.
That's interesting, because I have not put both of your names on my website.
Russell,
so I need to do that. And you guys need to tell your authors to do that, because I need to do that. I didn't know that was something I needed to do.
It's
Well, it helps with the legitimacy of what you're doing. I mean, if you're going to hire myself and Aimee, why wouldn't you make that legit and formal and look professional by doing that?
This is to the guy that couldn't find the podcast of my own show for 6 months. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Sometimes I need to be told these things.
but as Aimee said, we're not about cold calling writers and trying to
Right.
get business. I've been in business 9 years. I think I've cold called 3 authors in those full 9 years. And the reason I did it for those 3 authors is because I felt that they had something valuable to say. One of the 3 I still work with today. The other 2 we don't, but that's not the point. The point is, it's 9 years. I've cold called an author 3 times in that entire 9 years. The majority of the time, it's done through referrals. It's done through the fact that we've done interviews on other sites ourselves promoting our businesses. It's done through book summits, book conventions, things like that. We're not going to cold call or spam people to try and get business. That's not what we're about.
Well, see, I've never, right, and Russell, you know Sandy, right? So Sandy never did that either. I've never reached out coldly and asked anyone if they needed my services or anything. I guess the way, like for me, I guess the way that I coldly do it is by like doing these sponsorships and these educational webinars and stuff, but I don't email anybody directly. I don't think Sandy did either. Like if I did manage my email newsletter list, it would just be updates on what we're doing or current trends within the marketing space. It's never about, like, hey, here are my services. I've never done that. And I've never had that done like in any of the circles that I run with. I've never had them do that either. So I don't think that's like a common thing. Here comes
I've
my
done it 3 times in 9 years. And I haven't done it for over 3 years.
The best way to get customers, I know this from practicing law for 41 years, is by a happy client referring you.
That's right.
And I know in the last year, I have referred at least 3 authors to both of you.
Well, thank you for that.
And I don't know if they hired you, if you took them, but I know I've had at least 3 authors come to me and say, what do I do next? And my response is, and I name one of you depending upon where they're at. But my description, people that listen to the show knows that my version of the truth is usually much more expanded than the real truth, right? And so my version of how much the 2 of you, how great the 2 of you are, is a little bit more humorous than the way the 2 of you describe it, right? I basically have said that I've gotten an award, I've gotten a bestseller success, and that I give the credit for both to the 2 of you.
Well, thank you.
I just can't. I couldn't do what the 2 of you do. And my temperament wouldn't allow me to do what the 2 of you do. And I'm always amazed by what I got so many emails from Mickey this morning, that I had to get to work on today and respond to. That is perfect example of what Mickey does. Mickey gives you opportunities every day. And I don't really check on my emails anymore. I don't really practice day-to-day courtroom law every day now, so I don't have to check my emails too often, except I have to check every day, twice a day, because Mickey's going to have opportunities that I need to respond to. And if I don't respond within the next 12 hours, I'm going to miss some of it. That's a perfect example of Mickey.
That's what happens. It's called work.
Yeah, it's called work, right? And I know that I don't even really understand when you launch a book before anybody's read it, How do you make it to the bestseller? I've actually done this a couple of times now, but it changes so fast and so often, and it's so different than the first time I launched a book. I don't really understand what Aimee did.
Aimee's very good at doing that. She's very good at that.
Oh yeah, she did it for me.
Yeah, she's very
I
good
give
at
her all
doing
the
that.
glory, and you, right? But sometimes it's hard for people to think. Well, what do? They just make phone calls? No,
No.
they give you lists of things.
And I
Contact.
mean, Russell, it's true. Like what me and Aimee do, writers could do what me and Aimee do. Guaranteed. They could. No, they could. But you know what the kicker is with that? If they're doing all of that, and yes, doing what we do is full-time jobs,
Right,
if they're doing that, then they're not writing.
right. And let me give you a perfect example. Two examples. I can give you two examples of things I could never do. Like this, I was on a South African podcast
Yeah.
with a musician a few weeks ago. There's no way I could the guy's way too cool for someone like me to contact. Only through Mickey would I be able to contact this cool musician and be on his show. And that was very cool. And the whole accomplishment of getting that bestseller certificate that I now have on my webpage, I got that because Aimee knew how to promote the launch of my book, right?
Mhm.
I could never do these things. I never would want to because you're right, Mickey. I have too many other things to do. I would like to write, right? Or take care of that darn dog.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's you have to balance things out, and you have to be able to network all the time.
Okay, I need a story, Mickey. And I'm kind of catching you off guard because I didn't warn you that I was going to ask you this. I need a funny story that in your work that occurred to you in the last 12 months. Tell me something funny.
A funny story?
A funny story.
I don't have any funny stories.
Well, I can tell a funny story about you.
Sure, let's do that. Let's do that because I don't have any funny stories.
I love my funny stories. When Mickey calls you, Mickey is so busy. You get emails. If you get a text, that means that you're in slight trouble, right? The worst thing that can happen sometimes if Mickey has to call you, that means he's having to slow down the rest of the stuff he's doing to get you caught up in something he needs for you to do. That's just a fact. So if I get a call from Mickey, I'm like, uh-oh, I've messed up. I'm not doing something I'm supposed to do. That's the truth. Also, when Mickey asks you a question and when you answer it, if there's silence on the other end of the phone, that's a bad sign.
Oh my God. Russell.
It's more funny because I do that to Mickey, and he also takes it as a bad sign. So that's great.
It's a bad
Okay,
sign.
so that was a funny story. You've just scared 99 other clients. Thanks.
I love it.
It's awful. It's true though. You did that to me in the last 60 days. You called me. I knew I was in trouble. You asked me a question. Silence.
That's hilarious.
I knew it. That's not a poker face.
That's funny.
I don't. I hold myself on my sleeve with everything.
That cracks me up.
I've learned not to do that. Okay, Aimee, tell us a funny story that's happened to you in the last 12 months in your work. If you don't, I'll tell a funny story about you that'll be even funnier.
I'm curious to hear the funny story that you have of me. I don't. It's not with a client though. Like it has to be with a client. That's the funny story.
No, you can tell a funny story about when you were doing a speech at a conference and how nervous it was about you.
Oh God!
Because see, your audience cannot believe
yeah.
that you're scared to speak in front of an audience because you do these shows like 20 a day.
Well, I'm much better and more comfortable behind the screen than I am in person. God. Okay. Okay, well, I can just tell you about the recent one of the one that
Okay.
I sponsored in the Women in Publishing Summit. So I had my kickoff webinar, in November, I think, or in January. I just had it, and it was the same week that I had like a hell of a show on Authortalk. My computer wouldn't charge. I had to do Authortalk from my phone.
That was a good show.
I was cursing out Josh because he had unplugged all my crap from my computer. My computer wasn't on. It was a whole thing, right? So then my webinar comes on Thursday. I made sure Sky had somebody to hang out with so she wouldn't come in, because you know that you can't have that on those kinds of things. And my computer still would not charge. I had it plugged in, everything, right? And so I had like, I don't know, I think I had like 25% on my computer, and it was like an hour-long webinar, right? So I had to get through this webinar. And so I got through the webinar to kick it off, and I made it through. And right when it got to the Q&A section, my computer died. And then they're all like, "Oh, what happened?" And so I joined from my phone, and we were getting bad weather here anyways in this thing. I was like, oh, like my power must have gone out or something. And then I had my lights on in the hallway, but like my computer had just died. It wouldn't stay charged. It was a hell of a time. I got back on. I could answer questions and stuff because I had like 36 questions that I needed to answer from this webinar. But it was just mortifying. And then I come to find out that Josh had put the wrong charging base that was plugged in. Like I needed the one for my computer, the bigger one, and it was
what
just
did
one
you
for the
say
phone.
to him when you found
I
that
don't
out?
that is not for the show.
And that's the funniest part.
You can't censor, like that can't be censored, so I just can't say it because I was not a very
I
happy
can't
camper.
even tell you if I did that to my wife about her work,
Yeah,
because she gets really wound up about work, because that's the way we are. We get wound up.
I get it. Yeah,
I can't even tell you how much trouble I'd be in. I got yelled at all weekend about the dog making messes. And I don't mean accidents. I mean, like, puppies leave toys everywhere, or it's
yeah. Russell, I have Bruno, who's this big brute of a dog, right? He's like this big puppy. I have 2 kids. I have a cat, and I have Josh. Like, I get it. I understand 100%. But yeah, like, I guess that was my most, like, recently, that's my most embarrassing one, because it was just, like you live in that fear, I guess, of me, is it's like, oh, like it didn't come across professional, and it was like, oh crap, why did I have to do this? No one's gonna want to come and work with me because I've had all these issues. And and it was of course during like a hellish of a friggin' week that I was having because my computer wouldn't stay charged. So but I can laugh about it now, and I can roll with it because I already have like that relationship. I wasn't a newcomer, so like I can kind of laugh about it and roll it into things. But yeah, like God, that was terrible. But it is what it is, I guess.
Yes, I do. If people wanted to find out more about the two of you, where should they look? Like, Mickey, what's your webpage? How do people find out more about you? Has there been any? I know that you won some award this year, haven't you?
USA Global TV named me Publicist of the Year for 2024.
Okay, there's a pretty good recommendation. Do you have that on your webpage?
I don't, but I should maybe do that.
So see, I'm not the only one that has.
But I did actively promote it all over social media, and I leveraged Aimee for that because she has extensive reach.
I actually promoted you all over social media.
Case in point. Case in point. My webpage is www.creativeedge-services. I'm going to hopefully maybe do a retool of that overall. But again, it's all about referral business. It's all about testimonials. It's all about just creating passion and having a belief in stuff. That's why we do what we do.
If someone wanted to ask you a question or contact you, how would they do that?
They can email me, mickey.creativeedge@gmail.com.
And how about you, Aimee? Where can someone find out more about you?
Oh, well, besides just hanging out here on Mondays with me and Russell. I mean, you can go to my website, abundantlysocial.com. I do have the awards that I've won on there. I haven't updated them yet because I haven't I haven't gotten my multi-winner trophy that I'm waiting for.
And what is that? You had be more specific.
Yes, I know. You and
Come on,
Mickey are
Aimee,
just
talk it up, girl.
you and Mickey are just love this.
Well, I'm
Mickey,
proud of you. I'm proud
you
to
guys,
work with you.
I will just be complete. Every time I have a business conversation with Mickey, like that's like a business meeting or anything like that, he is always the one that mentions these awards,
Because I'm proud of
just like
I'm
Russell
proud.
mentions them here. I don't know if it's like showboating or whatever. I'm not really
I
good
mention
at it.
mine all the time. I'm happy to mention mine.
I
I was glad
know.
you mentioned Amy's because she doesn't mention them, and I'm super proud to be affiliated with her.
I know,
don't
right?
mention it. I don't mention any of them.
She's an honest businesswoman, right?
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
like you are. So, and it's nice when you find some honest people in this business. You got to keep your eyes on them, right? And but you still haven't answered the question. You've just grabbed your microphone and moved it around. But that's
You guys, okay. If you're watching where my bookcase is, I have 4 awards up there. I have Acquisitions International, which is over in the UK. They like love me over there in the UK. I have Acquisitions International, Global Award winner, and Influential Businesswoman of the Year. I've won 6 awards. I don't I don't post about them. I don't know. I just don't. The Acquisitions International one over in the UK, I won their multi-award winner trophy this year, and I'll be going. I may be going to Vegas for their award ceremony in May, maybe because I did get offered to come and hang out. So it's like a legit thing because I know people are like, oh, did they just reach out to you? All these things. So that's generally just how it happens. I get these emails from these companies and I'm like, oh, maybe this is a media opportunity wanting, to have a collaboration with Mickey and all those things. So I always look into them and like read them and stuff. But no, somehow I got submitted. I don't know how I got submitted or how they found me because they're over in the UK and I'm here in good old Texas, right? Haven't left the country, haven't left my state. So I don't really know. But yeah, I mean, they just contacted me and said that I was entered into it somehow and that I had won. And it was like a legit thing. They do ceremonies in 4 different places, one here in the States, one over in like the Middle East, in the UK, all the places that most of them
Why
are.
don't you go to London for it?
Well, because Russell, again,
London rocks. Oh my gosh. You could get on the plane, have a glass of champagne, take a sleeping pill. You'll wake up in London. It's great.
Well, yeah, but see, I have these little people right here that I have to coordinate.
For your mother. Your mother can babysit. You would love to do it. And you could spend 4 days in London. London is spectacular.
Yeah.
I may never leave if I go to London.
You would love the shows. You would, and Josh has enough travel time. He could take off for 4 days and go with you. It would be spectacular. You should go to the ceremony in London.
Well, maybe. So, maybe because they did call me and they're like, hey, we're having one in Vegas. We'd love for you to come and be one of our.
Cool, but it's not London.
No, I've only been once. I'm not a big casino person. I more enjoyed the zip line. I was over on Fremont Street on the zip line. That was my jam. But yeah, like I'm like some honorary person, and I'm supposed to go. I don't know if I'm going to go, but it's just funny. So, anyways, I have all these things going on. I don't talk about them because
we're talking now.
Yeah, because Russell and you guys made me
Because you
talk
made her. Way to go, Russell.
But anyways, so there's those things that are going on about, and like if you're watching the show right now, you can tell that I'm like flustered because my face is getting red because I don't like talking about this stuff.
And she keeps hitting her microphone.
Yeah, I'm really uncomfortable having this conversation. Like I can't look at my camera right now. And anyways, I would like all of these book promotions and stuff that I'm doing, I just focus more on those than the things that I've won. Like I have them on my website. I haven't updated them. But I do have them. I have the trophies to prove it. If you want me to take a big collage of winners. I do have all those things, but I just don't talk about them. But yeah, you can reach out to me anyway, or just here on Author Talk. You can send me a direct message. I'm quicker at those, but you can email me, which is just my name, Aimee, which is Aimee, not AMY. I'm very specific on that.
Yeah,
I am
that
very
comes with me.
specific. I know. I'm very specific on that, but
folks, she's very aggressively critical if you misspell her name.
I am, because it's in
example of aggressive Aimee.
True, because it's in my email, it's in my signature, so there's really no need for you. Like, there's no reason for you to misspell my name. So, anyway,
You don't want the double A, believe me.
You don't know. You don't. So, but that at abundantlysocial.com. Other than that, you can just hang out with me here on Author Talk. So that's how you can hang out with me.
Well, your daughter has decided the show's over.
Well, no, she's telling me how her dad did not make her favorite sandwich, and so she's boycotting her dad by not going to eat it because he didn't.
Sounds like, yeah, Josh is going to have to stay late at work tonight.
He's just going to stay in Corpus.
Oh, you guys.
He's fine. No, she'll be fine. I'll make her soup and she'll be fine. So.
Okay.
All right. So, because my child's in here, see, just like your guys' dogs, except yours don't really talk. Okay, because I have my dogs and now my daughter. Well, so
my cat's sleeping now.
Well, good for you. We don't all have the luxury of that. I'm sure Russell and I would love that if that would happen. But
give her a Benadryl.
Maybe stop to snot. So just so you guys know, we hope that everyone has a fantastic February, a great rest of the week, a great Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us, talking with us, chit-chatting, and watching me become uncomfortable, because we all live for that 100%. But until next week, you guys, bye for now.
Thanks for having us.